Meteorologist Patrick Bigby. We're breaking in on the air because we now have a tornado warning for portions of the Pine Belt. This right here is going to be down into Perry County. So we got a new warning that has come out for a cell that has finally wrapped up enough down here into Perry County. Let me get you the latest details on this warning. We'll pop up the information just over my shoulder. So this right here is going to be for Perry and Wayne County, and this is going to go until 5 o'clock today. This is a radar indicated tornado, and the latest from the Weather Service on this is at 4:11. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located 4 miles northeast of Brooklyn or 17 miles southeast of Hattiesburg, moving north at 40 miles per hour. So this is a radar indicated tornado. So what we're going to go ahead and do right now is put this on Pathcast and show you where this is going to be heading. So this is for this cell right here, and it is said it was moving north at 40 miles per hour. Let me get some of that information off the screen so you can kind of see what's going on. But this is our first warning of the day. I really thought we would have been on air before now, but sometimes that's not how things go. So areas in the path of this storm include, well, let me get this to redraw here. All right. So areas in the path of this storm include Red Hill at 4:19, New Augusta at 4:26, Indian Springs at 4:33 p.m., McSwain at 4:37, Richton at 4:41, Ovette, should this hold together, towards 4:50, 4:55 into Johnson Community, and 5 o'clock moving into Hollis Creek. That would be towards Wayne County. And this is that storm, and it is moving off kind of towards the northeast this afternoon. So let's look at it on rotation right now. Southern Pine Electric Radar doing a pretty good job, but I want to see the insides of the storm. And yeah, you can see a little bit of rotation with this storm on the radar this afternoon. It is sitting right here, kind of near New Augusta, and it'll be crossing over. It's pretty close to the intersection right there in New Augusta, where you have Highway 29 and Highway 98 right there. So it's going to be going very close to them. It'll also be going very close to the Leaf River Cellulose, which is the paper plant there in New Augusta. So hopefully they're taking their severe weather action plan right now. New Augusta, a tiny town, of course. When you drive through there on 98, you see the big truck stop there, of course. Now, this is going to go east of Camp Shelby. You can see Camp Shelby here, and I wanted to point this out. So we got Camp Shelby over here to the left of the storm. That is not in the path of the storm. This is moving off kind of towards the northeast. This is going to stay into portions of Perry County, but it's definitely a storm that we need to watch very carefully. It has that telltale sign. It has that area of rotation, and this is moving over, about to move over Highway 98 here, probably the next 3 to 5 minutes. Now, Beaumont, you're out of the path of this storm. You're going to be fine, and I think this is going to go just west of Hittonville, so you should be okay there. But I'm going to say this, at Richton, Reynoldstown, I would go ahead and get into your safe spot. Hollis Creek, Stringford, the Mulberry area of Wayne County, you're under the path of this tornado warning as well. And it popped up in our path track, but notice officially Jones County is not under that tornado warning whatsoever. They are not. That is done by the Weather Service in Jackson, so that's why it's kind of notched out right there. But well, obviously we'll have to wait and see what the Weather Service in Jackson has to say about this, and if they're going to go into the plans to issue a tornado warning there. Rex, do you get any information coming in with any of these new storms? You're over there on the Weather Service chat. What do you got?
Yeah, I just got a tornado warning for Perry, Wayne County until 5 o'clock. And at 4:10 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located about 4 miles northeast of Brooklyn or 17 miles southeast of Hattiesburg, moving north at 40 miles per hour. That's the latest we have on that, Patrick.
Yeah, and this thing is moving off towards the north and east, like you said, at 40 miles per hour, correct, Rex?
Yeah, 40.
And on that track, it's going to take it basically into kind of the northern portions of the county. So this is getting close right now, as I've said, to the city of New Augusta. It'll be getting close to kind of the Leaf River Cellulose area as well. That's down there towards the south and east of town. This is going to be very, very close to Perry Central High School in New Augusta. And I think it's going to go just west of there. But if you are in the town of New Augusta, you need to be in your safe spot right now. Tornado warning storm is right here on top of you, and it is moving off towards the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. And we got a new, that is going to be a flash flood warning, I think, Rex. Is that what that is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, where's that for?
Let me look right quick.
All right, and while he's looking at that, I'm looking over here at new information. Do you see it popping up?
Flash flood warning for Jasper, Newton, Scott, and Smith.
Okay, so that's going to be kind of along that main line of thunderstorms that we're watching, but we still are watching this line of thunderstorms, this one supercell. You know, we've been talking about supercells all day, and that was a concern for us. We've seen plenty of supercells fire up out there. That sounds like the tornado watch. It is now scrolling through. We've seen plenty of supercells out there today, Rex, but the one problem that we have seen is that they've just really, you know, kind of had struggled to really form out there across the area.
They've had issues, definitely, no question about that.
It's when we were here, when Ryan was here, we were all kind of talking about it. We thought it may be a little bit kind of the too much wind shear with some of the thunderstorms, but we finally had one tap into it, and it looks like now that is finally getting its act together. So that's why the Weather Service has decided to come on out here to issue this tornado warning for portions of Perry County. It's right on top of New Augusta right now, so you definitely need to be in your safe spot if you're in New Augusta, because this storm is right on top of you. And do you have anything else, Rex?
Yeah, they're actually issuing the tornado watches now. The watch, I warned, but watches are now going into western Florida, the Panhandle, and into Alabama. So they're thinking about taking some of our counties out of the watch by about 4:45.
All right, well, that'd be good news, but it obviously won't be this part of the viewing, Gary, since we still got the warning. And I'm going to ask control room if y'all can put me up on the green screen. I'd like to kind of point at some things here that we got going on. So there we go. The magic of TV. I can just pop up just like that. But right now, this storm is sitting right here. It's about to cross 98. Highway 98 is right here. The town of New Augusta is here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of clear off all the stuff that I've drawn on here earlier. There we go. So here is the storm. This is where the area of rotation is. It's currently about 3 to about 4 miles southwest of New Augusta. And I'm going to get a little bit tighter here with this storm because I want to kind of pull out some of the street names that we have going on. So this is areas just south and west of New Augusta. So we're talking about Man Road out here, Old Highway 24, Red Hill Road, Willow Street. We got, what is that other one? I can't see it. Stevens Cemetery Road. You all need to be in your safe spot right now because this tornado warned storm is moving off towards the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. Now, we're not seeing any signs of debris with this, so that's some good news. We'll flip it over to the debris checker. And as you can see, we're not seeing any balls of blue out here. If we were to see a blue signature surrounded by all of this kind of red, magenta color, that would be a sign that we have a tornado on the ground. And the good news here is I'm not seeing that it's on the ground, but as we look at it from the mobile radar site, there is definitely rotation with this storm right now as it sits right over the city of New Augusta. So you can see how the winds are kind of blowing. We got the winds coming away from the radar, moving towards the north. We got the winds coming towards the radar. That's that green signature, and that's what we always look for, was when we see that bright reds next to the bright green, and it signifies that we have a couplet. Right now, that couplet is sitting right on top of Highway 29 and Highway 98 right there over the city of New Augusta. So New Augusta, you should have already been in your safe spot 5 minutes ago. This storm definitely means business out here this evening, and it is continuing to move off towards the north and east. And I want to put another path cast on this so you can see what we're talking about and where this thing is going to be heading towards as it races off towards the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So let me draw this on here. We're going to be talking about areas around New Augusta. Of course, 423, that's right now. New Augusta, it's on top of you. So you need to be in your safe spot now. The next name in line would be McSwain at around 435. Then we have Richton coming up here at around 440. East side at 441. If this holds together, it'll be getting close to Rhodes and blocked it by 4:45, 4:48, and I think by 4:50 up towards 5 o'clock, if this holds together, it'll make it into southwestern Wayne County. And southwestern Wayne County, remember, you are under that tornado warning with this thunderstorm as well. I might actually get a little bit widen out here, and I want to just put on the warning polygon. That way you can see who is under the warning and who is not. Now, the Weather Service, they just kind of updated that tornado warning, so they trimmed it out a little bit. Rex, what's the latest information that they got coming out?
Tornado warning, let's see, for Perry, Wayne until 5. Continues tornado warning. That's what, 4:20, that came in at 4:23?
Yeah.
So they're still the same information, basically.
Okay, so
Moving northeast at 40.
northeast at 40, no new information coming in?
No.
Okay, well, that's good news. Sometimes nothing new is good news. We don't want to hear them say it's getting tighter or anything like that. They're just doing their periodical update. So basically, New Augusta, Richton, this is just east of Runnelstown, and portions of Wayne County all the way up to Mulberry and Hollis Creek. This is the tornado warning. This does not officially include Jones County around the Ovette area. I know it's kind of strange to see here, but Jones County is controlled by the Weather Service in Jackson. Wayne County and Perry County are controlled by the Weather Service in Mobile, and this is where they're having a kind of a disconnect here. The Weather Service in Mobile is confident enough to issue a tornado warning, and the Weather Service in Jackson is not confident enough to issue that tornado warning. But they are continuing everything that is moving off. That right there is going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning coming out. I think it's for Wayne County and Clark County, I do believe, until 5 o'clock. But of course, we're still focused on that tornado warning that is currently sitting there behind me this afternoon. But to kind of give you an idea, everybody who's just now kind of joining us right now, I want to show you what's going on. So we're going to reset this. We're going to put this into the home view, and I'm going to get that my buttons off the screen here. But here's what we're looking at. We've had supercells developing all day around here. They've rotated, but they haven't really matured. Once they've moved really north of the line from Bay Springs equipment, they've really spun up and they've caused some damage. So we've had several tornadoes reported north of Meridian today, but the storms have struggled so far here into the Pine Belt, and that's some good news. We didn't want to see a big outbreak, and I think we're kind of getting our prayers answered a little bit. Overall, our severe threat is lower than it was this morning, but it's not over just yet because we still have that tornado warning there for portions of Wayne County and for northern portions of for Perry County. Back off towards the west, Hattiesburg, out towards areas around Oak Grove, Purvis, and extending basically from Summerall Seminary up to Bay Springs. A very heavy rain, kind of a cluster of thunderstorms. Nothing severe with that. And then we got the main squall line back off towards the west. This has been very slowly moving to the east, and it's been moving so slow that they've been issuing flash flood warnings on this. So I would not be surprised to see that trend continuing because they've been getting a lot of heavy rain dumped over the last several hours off towards our west. The squall line is not well put together here either. So somebody was praying really hard because our severe weather threat has really just been kind of struggling pretty much all day. But we're still on the air because we still have that tornado warning for portions of Wayne County out there and for portions of Perry County. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit tighter here. I want to see the structure of the thunderstorm. And you can see, as we look at it here on the radar, you can see that hook signature right here. So this right here would be the core of the thunderstorm, and this back here would be your hook echo. So if there is a tornado, it's going to be back here closer, just to the north of the Leaf River in New Augusta. And that's where we're seeing the rotation right now as this currently moves off towards the north and east. So we're talking about areas just to the north of New Augusta. Let me pull on some roads here. So we're talking about Old Augusta Road, areas around Buck Creek Road, also Highway 29, and over here towards Wingate Road. If you live near these areas right here, you need to be in your safe spot right now because the storm is on top of you. And now the storm is north of New Augusta. So basically, if you live south of the Leaf River in the actual town of New Augusta, your threat is pretty much over, but the rotation is now north of the Leaf River, kind of into portions of central Perry County. So the storm is now leaving New Augusta, but it's still strong. You can still see the rotation, greens coming towards the radar, kind of those reds and oranges moving away from the radar, And right here, this is where you got that area of rotation that is currently moving off towards the northeast at 40 miles an hour. The next town in the path to this is going to be Richton. So Richton, you need to be in your safe spot. Let's see, how long is that going to take? It's not going to take long. About 10 minutes, it'll be into Richton. So McSwain is coming into the McSwain area at around 4:34. So that's about, 5 minutes away. And Richton by 3:38. So about 9 to 10 minutes before it gets to the town of Richton. So Richton, you need to be heading to your safe spot now. You got 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Go ahead and get there. That's plenty of time to get there to your safe spot. Put on your helmet, anything as simple as a bicycle helmet, a motorcycle helmet, a go-kart helmet. It does not have to be a racing style helmet that's going to save you if you fall off a motorcycle at 300 miles an hour. A bicycle helmet, something that simple. Anything to protect your head from flying debris, you'll have a much better chance if this thing actually touches down. And at last resort, a crawfish pot, a chicken pot, just something on your head to protect yourself. That's the one thing we learned in 2011 after that big tornado outbreak that hit North Mississippi and North Alabama. But we're still watching that area rotation. It's now north of New Augusta. Like I said, it has now crossed over the Leaf River. That's what that squiggly blue line here is. That's the Leaf River. So it's now north of New Augusta, and we just got a new update on that polygon, Rex. Are they saying anything in chat? Is there anything new with that?
Yeah, they're saying tornado warning continues for Perry Wayne until 5. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located 5 miles southwest of Richton. So you folks in Richton, you need to get to your safe place now.
Yeah.
Moving northeast at 45 miles per hour now.
All right, so it's moving pretty fast right now. And let me update that pathcast right here. I'm going to actually kind of just scooch it up towards the north. And that would put it, since it's moving a little bit faster now, it puts it into Richton at 4:37. So you got 7 minutes now. Richton, you need to be in your safe spot. This is almost on top of McSwain. If there is any good news with this, Rex, is that it's not as the rotation to me does not look as strong as it did maybe 5 to 10 minutes ago.
No, not at all.
And I will say this: we got another. What's that going on?
I'm trying to figure out where that's at.
Okay, just holler at me when you do. But one thing I will say is that this area of rotation is not as tight as it was, say, 5 to 10 minutes ago, and it's definitely not the tightest rotation I've seen on radar all day. So if there's anything, this is kind of a broad rotation, and I'm not seeing any immediate signs that this thing is going to produce a tornado, but it is rotating, and it is rotating enough that you need to be taking shelter because it still can produce tornadoes. Some of these cells, they cycle through, they get in a weak cycle, and then they cycle back to a strong side. And that's sometimes how supercells work. We don't know if it's going to produce or not. We could be looking at it in its weak cycle. It may try to tighten back up once it moves north. But regardless, you need to be in your safe spot right now, especially for the town of Richton, because that is the next town in the path of this storm. That tornado warning for Perry County now until 5 o'clock. This does include areas as far north in southwestern Wayne County, around Mulberry, and out towards Hollis Creek as well. And this is going to be moving off towards the north and east at 45 miles an hour. Another thing to note here is this, like I've been saying, you see this odd notch out of this warning. That right there is Jones County, and Jones County is controlled by the Weather Service in Jackson. Obviously, Jackson is not on board with this, and that's why you're seeing kind of the disconnect there. Normally, they would fill that in, but Jones County obviously does not feel that it's at their threshold for a tornado warning. But regardless, you need to be taking this storm seriously because it does have pretty strong rotation. Across the rest of the Pine Belt, this is all we're seeing right now. We got flash flood warnings towards the west until 8:15 for Jasper, Newton, Scott, Simpsons County. Even those extend down to Covington County towards Prentiss, Carson, even out towards Lawrence County this evening. We got one severe thunderstorm warning for the eastern part of Clark County. And then, of course, what we're on the air for right now is this. This right here is that tornado warning that remains in effect until 5 o'clock for Perry County and for Wayne County this evening, but it is still moving off towards the north and east at about 45 miles per hour. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and put this back into Super Res. I want to clean up that image and get in a little bit tighter here, because one thing we were noticing earlier is you could see that that kind of the hook signature to it, but it's starting to look a little bit messy now. So I mean, that may be some good news. I'm not seeing that clear telltale hook with this like I saw about 5 or 10 minutes ago as this moves off towards the north and east. But nevertheless, Richton, it's on top of you now. You have to get into your safe spot. This thing is moving off towards the north and east at about 45 miles an hour. So Richton, out towards Mulberry, Hollis Creek, these are all towns that are in the path of this storm as it moves off towards the north and east. Now, Rex, has Jackson said they're going to do anything with Jones County? Or?
They've got a tornado warning for Clark County until 5 o'clock. Oh, no, it's a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible for Clark County until 5. They haven't, I think the reason they're not mentioning southeastern Jones County is I think the system's moving toward the northeast away from that part of Jones County. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why they've got maybe the other counties involved, but Jones County's not involved with that particular tornadoes. But somebody you just asked them.
Yeah, I
for Jones County.
I just asked them in chat. Yeah. And I'm looking at some of the radar off air. And one thing I'll say here is this. In fact, I'm going to actually show you what I'm looking at here. All right, so let me come back over to Max, and I'll show you what I'm taking a look at here on Analyst. One thing to note here is that this area of rotation as it sits here is not as strong, and it's actually kind of broad right now. Earlier when it was over New Augusta, it was only yay wide. Now you're starting to see kind of a wider structure with it. So what you're seeing here is that the rotation is now broad. It's very big. It needs to be tight to produce a tornado. Once they get big, it means that the storm is, it's spinning, but it's not near a place in its life cycle that it may produce a tornado. So, Richton, you still need to be in your safe spot because the storm is on top of you, but I'm just letting you know that this storm is looking a little bit weaker and a little bit more ragged than it did about 5 or 10 minutes ago, and that may be some good news here. It may keep it up in the clouds and prevent it from going back down to the ground. But nevertheless, we are still watching this storm right now as it moves off towards the north and east. Now, one thing I do want to do while I'm here is kind of give you on a quick radar tour. Heavy rain moving over the city of Hattiesburg, Petal, here at the TV station Union, Raw Springs, Oak Grove. A lot of heavy rain out there, but none of this is severe. It's not rotating. It's not doing anything. It's not suspicious or anything like that. More heavy rain falling from a kind of a congealed line of storms from Stringer, Hebron, down to Oak Bowery, and even towards the Sanford community as well. All this is kind of moving west to east. Then we have the parent squall line out here towards the west. And the squall line itself is not as put together as it was earlier today. It has a very ragged appearance. That's why there's no warnings along it. But there are flash flood warnings out in effect along that squall line as it moves off towards the south and east. And then down here into portions of Marion County, you can see towards Sandy Hook, and down towards they're seeing a lot of heavy rain as well. Rex, you got something?
Yeah, they answered you. The National Weather Service in Jackson said not at this time. Circulation has weakened. It also looks to miss the far southeast corner of Jones County.
Okay, good news. What is that going to be?
That's a tornado warning for Jasper and Newton County. That's a tornado warning, tornado radar indicated for Jasper and Newton counties.
Okay.
A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Turnerville or 9 miles north of Stringer, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour.
Okay, so this is a new tornado warning that has come out and is now, this one is up here towards Jasper County. This includes Jasper County. This is basically Bay Springs moving off towards the north and east. It looks like we have a little bit of embedded rotation here with this storm just to the east of Bay Springs. So let me flip this over to velocity mode, and that way we can see where the rotation for sure is. And, Rex, yep. That's definitely a strong signature right there. So basically, we got a pretty nice little couplet sitting here about a mile or two east of Bay Springs along Highway 18, and this thing is racing up Highway 18. So Bay Springs, Jasper County, you need to get in your safe spot right now. This right here is basically going to be areas just east of Bay Springs along Highway 18, getting out towards, the rotation is just north of 528. So we're talking areas around County Road 299, County Road 29, County Road 1816, County Road 23. Basically all Jasper County roads out here. But basically, if you live anywhere within about 5 miles north or south of State Road 18, you need to be in your safe spot because this storm is rotating something fierce out there. It's definitely got a couplet on it, and Rex has some info, right?
Yeah, they're saying out of Jackson, the circulation near Bay Springs really ramped up quick, and it's quite strong. So they're really interested in that particular couplet.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested with it as well, Rex, because that was definitely the strongest couplet we've seen all day. We still got that one tornado warning down into portions of Perry County, but it's definitely not as strong as this. We're looking right now on debris detection, and one thing I'm noticing is that I don't have the sail is sitting right here. I don't see any real lowerings just yet, so nothing is on the ground at the moment, but the storm is definitely spinning like a top. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to put a path cast on this, and then we're going to go back quickly to the storm back in Perry County, because we don't want you folks in Perry County to think we forgot you. So here is the path of this storm. So this storm is now northeast of Bay Springs, about 4 or 5 miles northeast of Bay Springs. It's moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. At 443, it'll be towards McNeil. 447, Gridley. Pentley at 456, and if it holds together, it'll be getting close to Rose Hill at 4:59 to 5 o'clock. But Rex, that area of rotation has really ramped up there into portions of Jasper County. That was definitely surprising. We'll flip back over here now to the storm that we're watching into portions of Perry County. If there's any good news here, it is this. This rotation is very ragged. It's very broad now. It's not tight. So this storm is kind of in a weakening phase, if there is anything, and that's a little bit of good news. And we don't want it to be strengthening. We want it to be weakening. And, I mean, there's still some rotation there, but it's just not as tight as it was 5-10 minutes ago. And as you can see, that rotation and the thunderstorm itself does not have that characteristic telltale sign of that hook that we were seeing probably about 15 minutes ago when it was sitting here over New Augusta. But it is now north of Richton, and it's getting the rotation is crossing now into Wayne County, getting close to the Mulberry community and out towards Hollis Creek. But of course, the storm that we're watching with the most concern is this one up here into portions of Jasper County. All right, we got a new tornado.
That's continues the tornado warning for 5 o'clock for a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado that's located 4 miles north of Richton, moving northeast of 40. But a guy just on here commented on the weather chat site. He said there's a fairly weak rotation overhead in Richton, but nothing near the ground. So
okay, so the storm is weakly rotating, but we're not seeing it near the ground. That's some good news, but I'm not sure that's good news for people up here in Jasper County, because this storm has ramped up. It is just wrapped up itself really within the span of 5 to 10 minutes, because we were just looking at this, probably 15 minutes ago, Rex, before we came on the air.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And nothing was really spinning, and this thing is spinning like a top. It's out here doing its best Tara Lipinski imitation and just spinning. That is some very tight rotation. It's right now on top of Turnerville. That's State Highway 18 and Turnerville. The rotation is right now sitting on top of you. I'm going to flip it over to correlation, our debris tracker. I'm not seeing any signs of debris with it right now. I'm not seeing anything else besides red or pink. There's the little triangle. That's where the rotation is. But we're not seeing any signs that there is a tornado on the ground. But it's definitely something something that we're going to watch very carefully here over the next little bit, because that storm definitely has my attention. And this is going to be embedded. So you're not going to, if you're living along Highway 18 here into portions of Jasper County, you're not going to hear this storm. You're not going to see it. This is rain wrap. There is a lot of rain in this embedded supercell. Really, the rotation is wrapped up about right here. And as you can see, it is just covered in a big area of heavy rain. That was a new severe thunderstorm warning, Rex. Where is it coming out at?
That's Clark County.
Okay, so that's going to be a little bit outside of our viewing area then.
But the Weather Service did say this, watching the one that you're talking about now that has a good rotation to it.
Yeah.
They're watching the Southwest Perry County supercell as its rotation has been on a greater uptrend. So they're watching that very carefully.
Okay, so they're saying, as I said earlier, it weakened, and now it's kind of ramping back up, and we'll look at it right quick. This right here is now in Wayne County, so Richton, the threat is over for you unless you live right on the county line. But the rotation, it's sitting right here. It's right here. There's State Highway 15, Ovette's right here. What is it? Witten, I think it's right here. And then you got out here towards Hollis Creek and Mulberry. And this is where that first rotation that we've been talking about that's been in Perry County, it's moving off towards the north, towards Mulberry and Hollis Creek. We'll have to see if the Weather Service decides to issue a new tornado warning for Wayne County, because this is kind of on the edge of their original warning that they got right now. But if they decide to do that, we'll definitely let you know. We're watching it as well, but the rotation is just not as tight right there as it is with this thunderstorm that's just to the east of Bay Springs. And it is wrapped up like a top out there, Rex. This is some very tight rotation with this storm as this thing currently races off towards the north and towards the east. You can still see how tight and bright that rotation is just now northeast of Turnerville. Anytime you start to see bright reds mixing with the blues, that's some signs of some very, very strong winds within this thunderstorm. So it is definitely spinning very fast right here. It's just not produced anything yet. In fact, we'll go back over to debris tracker. We don't see any signs of lowering here with a correlation coefficient. If we do, we'll be sure to let you know. But you can see where the radar is placing that tornado. It's saying that it should be about a mile north of Turnerville, or about a mile northeast of Turnerville, and this thing is racing off at about 40 miles per hour. So this right here is definitely a storm that we don't want to mess around with. It's getting close to the fringe of our viewing area. Once it hits Rose Hill, that's about as far north as our signal can go. So once it gets to Rose Hill, we'll let this go. But obviously, we still got the other tornado warning that we're watching too, down into portions of Wayne County. This is now out of Perry County. The area of rotation has now moved into Wayne County. So if you live in Perry County, your threat is over at the moment. This is now just a Wayne County situation as this thing moves off towards the north and east. And if it does hold together, it looks like it may cross Highway 84. I know we're talking a little bit beyond now, maybe around 515, 520 at its current course, and it would be somewhere between maybe Stringford and Waynesboro if it continues to move northeast. But the Weather Service has said that they believe it may start to upcycle, so we're going to have to watch that one carefully. The warning sirens going off in the back office, Rex. Is there anything new coming out?
I'm trying to find that out right now.
Okay. While you do that, I'm going to go back in here on this one storm that we're still watching out towards Rose Hill. Just holler when you're ready.
Tornado warning continues for Jasper and Newton County.
Okay.
That's basically getting out of our viewing area now. At 4:44, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Turnerville, or 14 miles northeast of Stringer, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour.
All right, so basically that area of rotation that we're watching, I'm going to actually put a path cast back on this. How fast was it moving, Rex?
35.
35.
I don't understand what the difference is in all these individual cells moving at different speeds, but this one was moving 35, the other one maybe 40, 45.
Okay, so this storm at its current track is now northeast of Bay Springs. So Bay Springs, you are here. This storm is up here kind of towards Turnerville, and it's now racing along State Highway 18. It's now kind of between Montrose and Paulding there, and it is moving northeast along Highway 18. It'll eventually get up to Rose Hill, by 4:58 Central Time. And as I said earlier, Rose Hill is the furthest our signal goes. So once it gets to Rose Hill, we're going to go focus solely back on that Perry County storm. But if you have loved ones up in the portions of Jasper County, you need to let them know that they need to go ahead and be in a safe spot, because this is a storm you don't really want to mess around with, folks. This is a strong storm this afternoon, and you can see who is all in that tornado warning here across the area. Basically, I'm going to zoom out because I wanted to show Bay Springs. So Bay Springs, it was right on your doorstep, but it's now continuing to travel along at about highway speed on Highway 18, and it is now kind of between Bay Springs and Rose Hill. And that is still a radar-indicated tornado, and that goes until 5:30 today as that storm races off towards the northeast, anywhere from about 35 to 40 miles per hour. Over my shoulder, you still see the flash flood warnings with that slow-moving area of rain as it's been coming in across the area. It's been dumping a lot of heavy rain across the viewing area this afternoon. Has the Weather Service said anything, Rex?
No, they haven't mentioned that one in, let's see, that you said the rotation was so tight on. They haven't mentioned anything about it.
What about the one in Wayne County?
The one in Wayne County?
Yeah.
They haven't mentioned anything since. They just said the last thing they said was at 4:42. They're still watching Southwest Perry County supercell as the rotation has been gradually on the uptrend, but they hadn't mentioned it since.
Okay. Well, that's something that will definitely.
But hold on, I got something new.
Okay.
The Jasper County storm appears increasingly elevated. We're going to monitor for a little while longer, but if representation does not improve, they will cancel it early.
Okay. So
that's good news.
That is good news. And for those of you who don't know what Rex it says by elevated, it makes sense to a meteorologist. Basically, your updraft, if it's based at the surface, you can get a tornado. If it's based aloft, if the updraft starts at, say, 3, 5, 7,000 feet in the air, you got that buffer space where you can't get a tornado to drop. So if a storm is elevated, it has a very hard time, if not impossible time, of producing a tornado. So that may be a little bit of saving grace, because that was definitely a tight signature there. But if it is elevated, it's going to have a very extremely hard time producing a tornado, and that would be some good news. Hopefully that is the case with that storm. But we're still watching other thunderstorms across the area, and while I got you here, we're going to go ahead and take a quick radar tour. Heavy rain falling now from Ellisville down towards the TV station here in Moselle, Raw Springs, Oak Grove, Olo, Sumrall. You're all seeing scattered heavy thunderstorms out there. Nothing is rotating with these thunderstorms, and I'll show it to you. We don't have any real signs of rotation with these thunderstorms. That's good news. These are just kind of noisy thunderstorms this afternoon. Then as we extend this out towards the southwest into portions of Marion County, Pickwick, Sandy Hook, a lot of heavy rain out here, even out towards Baxterville. But again, nothing bad with these thunderstorms. Off towards the east, now into portions of Perry County, you can see from Hittonville, New Augusta, Beaumont, McLean, Brooklyn, Carnes, Maxey, even out towards Wiggins. A lot of heavy rain and lightning with these thunderstorms, but again, nothing severe. And as I've said earlier, thunderstorms today have had a very hard time maturing. Every shower has almost been rotating today, but it's been weak rotation. You got to have a mature thunderstorm to make that rotation into a tornado. And every storm in our area, except for these last two, have been kind of not making it to that mature stage. So they haven't really made it to produce a tornado. It seems like once they move north of Meridian, they do. But in our neck of the woods, they are definitely struggling. But we do still have those two tornado warnings that are in effect. Right now, one over here towards Mulberry, towards Hollis Creek. That storm is moving off towards the northeast at 45. The rotation with it is still not as good as it was earlier when they first issued that tornado warning. As you can see, the couplet is sitting here kind of now between Hollis Creek and Mulberry. It is moving off towards the north and east. Hollis Creek, 4:45 Central Time, that's when it's going to get to you. If this holds together, that's a big if right now, a really big if. It'll make it to Whistler by 5:10 and towards Waynesboro, which is covered up by the box here, by 5:14. So we'll have to see what the Weather Service decides to do, because I think that warning expires at, 5 o'clock, Rex?
Yeah.
Yeah, that expires here in about 8 minutes, and the couplet itself is about to move out of the box. So we'll have to see what they decide to do. But this is now a Wayne County problem, and again, a problem up here towards portions of Jasper County. Now, if there is good news, Rex, is that this couplet is really starting to fall apart.
Oh, yeah,
I understand now what they mean, that the elevated trend, because it was very tight closer to the radar. As it's moving away, it's not as strong. And this right here may have been just a quick spin up, but we're not seeing that strong sign of rotation with this storm at the moment as this continues to move off towards the north and east at about 35 miles an hour. Of course, Rose Hill, you still need to be in your safe spot, but definitely this is kind of a little bit of good news if there is any out there at the moment. Across the rest of the viewing area, no real signs of rotation outside of those two storms that we were just showing you, but we're still getting a lot of heavy rain out there this afternoon, and some of the rainfall amounts have been pretty good here over the last 12 hours. We're going to load this up. You can see we've been seeing anywhere from about a quarter to a half an inch of rain, but over here where the squall line has been all day, look at this. This is why they've issued those flash flood warnings. We got flash flood warnings that affect basically McGee westward to Brookhaven, and you can see over the past 12 hours they've seen 2, 3, 4, possibly up to 5 inches of rain in some of those dark red areas. So that is why they are issuing the flash flood warnings. And these thunderstorms are moving very slowly. And as they move very slowly, they're dumping a lot of heavy rain here across the area. You can see rainfall rates with these thunderstorms are on the order of anywhere from 2, 3, possibly 4 inches an hour. And as they move very slowly, they are effectively dumping 2, 3, 4 inches an hour wherever they are. So the rainfall is continuing to tick up here across the area. But as I've been saying, the overall severe threat is not as strong as we were worried that it may be. And because of that, we went ahead and dropped down the overall severe threat between now and about 8 to 9 o'clock. So earlier today, we had that tornado threat all the way maxed out into the high category. We've now bumped it down halfway into the medium category. And I really think more of anything, this may be just a heavy rain and a wind threat now for us here into the Pine Belt. I'm not saying our severe threat is over, case in point, the 2 warnings that we're covering on TV right now, but I am saying this, overall, our severe threat is nowhere near as high as it was earlier today, and that's some really good news. But we're still going to be here throughout the rest of the evening to keep you safe and informed, but I did want to give you that little piece of tidbit of information. Also, we're starting to see our temperatures come down some on the back side of this system once the rain has moved in, and that's once that squall line moves through, your severe weather threat is going to be pretty much over after that. Their temperatures are into the low 70s up towards Taylorsville, mid to upper 70s along and south of Hattiesburg. And this is where some of the better instability still remains. But as we've seen pretty much all day, the thunderstorms have just really lacked the ability to do anything. So we're still on air right now. We still have, those 2 warnings that are in effect right now. We just got the one warning now. They have, looks like they have canceled. Is that right, Rex? They've canceled that?
Yeah, it looks like they said the tornado warning cell in Wayne County is also showing broad rotation, but hasn't shown any signs of strengthening, and will let the warning expire at 5. So that's going to expire at 5 o'clock based on current trends. But any uptick in strength may require additional warnings. Stay very alert along the band of storms in Perry and Wayne counties. Also watching broad rotation moving into western Choctaw County, but that's Alabama. That's away from our view.
Right. Choctaw County is the county right over here. So this right here is Choctaw County, and then you have Washington County, and then, of course, Mobile County down there. But, well, that's some good news.
Yeah, they're saying it's a stable state now at the moment. They have not seen any strengthening in the latest scan.
Okay, well, that's some really good news. But we're still watching that rotation. They said they're going to let it expire at 5 o'clock, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And one bit of good news here is this. As the weather train goes by, you can hear it behind me. So here's the rotation. It's almost out of the polygon, by the way. So if they were going to do something, they would have already had to do it now. The rotation is very, very weak as it sits here on top of Hollis Creek. So we're just sitting here just west of State Road 63. So Hollis Creek, Clara, these are the next communities in the path. It's dumping a lot of heavy rain, but the rotation has really, really just fell apart over the last, I would say the last 20 to 30 minutes here. But nonetheless, the heavy rain threat is going to continue for not only you, but for other portions of the Pine Belt. And as you can see, those rainfall rates within this thunderstorm are pretty big. Rainfall rates anywhere from 3 to 4, and even a few places up to 5 inches per hour. So this thunderstorm is effectively raining water balloons down out there across Wayne County. It is just raining, the old expression, raining to beat the band out there, and it is raining hard this afternoon and into Wayne County. Off towards the west, we got some rain moving through Laurel. We got some rain and thunderstorms moving into Hattiesburg at the moment, and we're still watching everything as it moves off towards the east this evening. But with the threat of severe weather kind of waning a little bit, with the one tornado warning canceled now in Jasper County and the other tornado warning about to expire here into portions of Wayne County, that's some good news. So what we're going to do, since it's almost 5 o'clock, I'm just going to keep you until the news at 5 starts. Control room, go ahead and get ready because I will relinquish coverage to you at 5 o'clock. So Carrie, you also need to go get in your spot as well because in 2 minutes we're going to resume normal coverage, and that'll be WDAM 7 News at 5. Of course, the big story that we're going to be tracking is the weather. We're still under that tornado watch until 7 o'clock, and we still have the threat of heavy rain and possibly a few more severe thunderstorms. But thankfully, the severe threat has just not materialized to the extent we thought it would here. But it certainly has in North Mississippi. Jackson, I'm going to tell you, areas around Vicksburg, Jackson, Starkville, up towards Sugar Land, they have been seeing a lot of tornado warnings up there, and they've seen several reports as well of tornadoes on the ground. So we may have been spared. We certainly have not dodged the bullet completely, but we've just, I guess, been grazed, as you would say, as
Patrick,
this thing has come in. Yes,
I will say one thing. The rain probably has helped us more than it's hurt us.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rex, because, we've seen all these thunderstorms fire up, and they're kind of canceling out all of the energy that we have in the environment. So sitting now that we're at the top of the show, we're going to go ahead and start WDM 7 News at 5 right now.